In today's video, I'm going to show you how to build a calendar spread in the analyzer of the thinkorswim platform. Even if you're not trading with the thinkorswim platform, you can build and use the analyzer so you can evaluate the risk on your position and monitor what that risk would be during the duration of the trade. So to place a calendar, you're selling a shorter duration option and buying a longer duration option. And the reason we're doing this is we're looking to capitalize on the time decay of the shorter option, the shorter duration, being quicker than the longer duration option. So if I was going to sell the 234, the put calendar, I would be selling the 234, which I would get at least $1.90 for right now. And since the current price is at 233.86 right now, most of this is time value. And that's what we're looking to have decay over that period of time, which in this case is just 12 days. If I come down here to the April 21st 234 and I look at this, I'm paying 257, and 257, most of that is also time value. However, if I was to left click on this one here and then right click on this one here, I'm showing you how you can, by using the individual options, just build the position. But take note, if I was to just uncheck the long option and look at the short option, notice that my time decay right now per day is 36.75 on the option that I'm selling. And now let's switch over to just the long option. So I'm losing $23.73 on my long option per day, but I'm gaining $36.75 per day on the short option. That's the purpose of this calendar spread, is to capitalize on the time decay of the short option being faster than the time decay of the long option. And here it's showing that we're gaining more per day, and as time goes by, those numbers will increase. If I was to just leave this option checked, you can see if I advance each day here, the theta value or time value that I'm capitalizing or gaining on is increasing as I get closer to expiration. So let's go back to today's date. And in order to then send the order, in this case, you would actually have to come over here and send the two orders separate. You could buy the April 21st and then you could sell the April 7th. But you can do it all as one trade if you want. You can come up here and right click on the 234 and then come over to Analyze by Trade and come over to Calendar. Now in this case, notice that the calendar is not lit up, and there's a reason for that. In the thinkorswim platform, when you're building a calendar trade, what they do is they default the long option. When you first build the trade, they default the long option to be the very next expiration. So if I'm trying to build the April 7th, it's automatically trying to build it with the long option that's the 12th, and then you can edit that later. But the problem is it's not allowing me to do it because the April 12th, and I'll show you this in a moment, the April 12th does not have a 234 strike. So if you were going to build this in this fashion, you would actually have to come over here and pick an option that is more common to be in all of the different expirations. So first let me show you that there is only $5 wide strikes on the April 12th. So that's why it wasn't letting me build that calendar spread, because I would need to choose 230 or 235 because of the default being that they choose the very next expiration. So if you had to build the 234, you could come down here and build the 235, and then it's allowing me to build the trade. And then once you build the trade, come over here to where it's April 12th expiration and then change it to the April 21st, And both of those have 234s, the April 21st and the April 7th. So then I can come over here and change my strike to the 234. And now it's giving me a 60-cent. When you build it as a spread here, it's giving you the mid price. Now remember, when I built this separately, I was getting the worst price for the buy and the worst price for the sell, and it was a 67-cent difference. But now by building it as a calendar spread, it's giving me the mid price of both options. So it's taking the mid price of the 250, 257, and it's subtracting from that the mid price of the 190 by 198, and it's coming up with a 60-cent debit. Now that's one way you can work around when they won't let you build the calendar because of that default setting, but there's even a better way. There's another way where you can choose the position, and you just have to hold down the control key while you're building it. So let's say I want to build a calendar spread, and I want to sell the 234, and I want to buy the 234 April 21st. So if I left click on this, notice how it builds the 234 as a single option. But if I then hit the control key and come down here now to buy the 234 for April 21st, watch what happens. And watch what happens in the type of trade that it's building. Right now it's set this up as a single trade, but as I come over here and left click on the 234 for April 21st, notice that it automatically recognized that because I sold the 234 for April 7th and bought the 234 for April 21st, it automatically recognized that as a calendar spread, switched it to a calendar spread, and gave me the mid price as the default of 60 cents. This shows you that there's multiple ways in the platform of doing what you want to accomplish, and you can find one of the ways that's most comfortable. And if you can remember that you can build the position by holding down the control key, that'll make it easier to pick the strikes you want, because in this first instance you would have to sell and buy the trade separately. In this second instance, when you're doing it, you had to use that workaround because of the default pricing of Thinkorswim and how there was no 234 option on April 12th. But by using the control key, and let me just go through it one more time, left click on the first option that you want. I'm selling the 234 for April 7th, and then hold the control key down while you come down to the option that's the long option that you're buying, and left click on that. And then it automatically builds the position as the calendar spread that you're looking for. And then you can adjust your contract size, you can adjust the price that you're looking or willing to pay for it, and when you're done with that, you can come over here and left click and then confirm and send your order if that's the order that you're choosing.